What is going on, guys? This is Dom from The Mafia, bringing back another One Piece TCG deck profile. I recently topped with Marco at my locals, and I've been really liking the leader. I've been playing it since it came out, obviously, but I've been testing it, grinding on the sim, way before it's come out here in the West. I have about 21 different versions of the deck, and this has been the most consistent for me. So I'm super excited to get into this, and I hope you guys enjoy. So
go over what the leader does first real quick in case anybody doesn't know.
Leader effect, you put a Don onto him, and you can draw a card from the top of your deck into your hand, and then you put a card from your hand on the top or the bottom of your deck, setting up some very cool interactions like the 9-drop Sanji that we're going to talk about later. I think it's the last card we're going to talk about. And the 3-drop Ivankov that I am running, which is the true spice of the deck. Shout out to Steak Frank.
Minus 2,000.
Yep. And then obviously we give minus 2,000 to an enemy character, setting up our Rayleigh plays and all that jazz that we will get into later, folks. But without further ado, we will get into the 2K counters. Now, the first 2K counter we will get into is Otama. Otama, just your typical 2K counter on play, 1 cost, minus 2,000 power, any character. It works great with our leader ability. If you're just trying to wipe the board, put 1 on leader, drop an Otama that's minus 4,000 power to a character, just makes it easier to swing into stuff. And it also combos great with a Rayleigh and the 7-drop Newgate as well. So
in the current meta, guys, that also works amazing against Doflamingo.
Oh yeah, it is great against Doflamingo.
Doflamingo is super hot right now after the starter decks came out, and there you go. And
speaking of tech for Doflamingo, I've been running this Beppo 2K counter, which is actually another spicy card that I run for specifically Doflamingo. It is a 3-drop, 2,000 power character, so you can play this on odd curve on your 3-Don turn, going second, drop him down, put a Don on him when attacking, KO with 3K. power, so it works really well with your Marco ability. Again, guys, put 1 on leader, minus 2,000 power one of their many warlords with 5,000 power to make them 3. Put a Don onto Beppo, swing, and pop the character, and then they are going to have to answer him with, obviously they could just Perona swing into them or Buggy swing into them, but the thing that I found with Marco is you have to get characters on the board to let your opponent swing into to preserve your life total, because you're only a 4-life leader. It's a very fragile deck, very hard to pilot too, guys. You have to play almost perfect against the meta matchups in order to just wipe them out, or else you're gonna get fried. Like, I found if you make like one mistake that may not be that relevant, like with another leader that you're playing or something like that, it's extremely relevant and can lose you the game most of the time if you bottom deck the wrong card or don't filter your hand out properly with your leader ability. But definitely getting characters on the board for your opponent to swing at is really important. Beppo, great card.
Yeah, Dom played in our locals when he won the local tournament. The championship match was against one of the best players in Buffalo, who actually won, who's actually going to Nats, and he was playing was it Black Yellow Luffy?
It was Green Bonnie.
Oh, it was Bonnie this time,
which is a strong matchup for us. But it was an extremely good game.
It was a 20-minute match, and it was a sweaty match, and it
was very good.
Came down to the last card. So
next 2K, we're running 10 2Ks. It's actually going to be the Pudding. Charlotte Pudding, it's 2 to play. You'll usually never play this out for 2. You're usually gonna cheat it out with
Ivankov.
your 3-drop Ivankov that I'm going to talk about later, which is a very, very good, best card in the deck by far.
It's part of a combo, so it's in there for a reason.
But it's a 2K. You could cheat it out with Ivankov, and then you usually just activate it and get the 2K to your hand. So with the Ivankov that I'm going to talk about, it makes your leader ability technically like a draw 1, and you're just getting a 2K. But those are the 2Ks. 10. Next card that we are going to talk about is for Duvall. It is from the Sanji Zoro.
So is the pudding.
Yeah. These are a part of the
These aren't cards you're seeing a lot of people use right now in the meta, guys. So
yeah, no.
This is a spicy build.
This is definitely spice. Duvall, another, I'll probably say every card is the best card in the deck just because I love the deck so much. But another card you could cheat out with Ivankov. It's a blocker that lets you look at your top 3 cards and rearrange in any order on the top or the bottom, which basically allows you to play towards your 9-drop Sanji that we're going to talk about. Finding your cards on curve, guys. Usually what I've found with this deck, playing your cards, and any deck actually, playing your cards on curve is just good. Like if you have a generically strong curve, like if you're playing cards you can play on 2 Don, 4 Don, 6 Don, 8 Don, and then you have a good 10 drop, it's just generically good. So having cards that allow you to set your top cards and filter out just like your Marco ability and just sort through cards are just really, really good for this deck. And it's a blocker, chump blocker. Like I find myself sometimes on 10 Don playing a Rayleigh Duvall, super powerful. So you could just cheating out chump blockers is just really good.
And it's a 1K. It's a 1K in case
1K
of emergency,
counter to you guys.
So,
yeah, of course. And that'll be the Duvall. And I'm pretty sure, yep. Next card, I'm running 3 Haruta.
Ooh, blast from the past for all you old Newgate players.
Yep. Whitebeard pirate card, 2-drop, activate main, put Arrested Don on your leader, which is relevant because you could play him out for 2 on your first turn if you're going second. Play him out for 2, activate main, put with Arrested Don on leader, activate your effect, and do the thingy. Filter out your hand on your second turn. The grossest play I've ever done with him is on my 5 Don turn. I had this in hand. I played it out for 2, put a Don on leader, activated ability to put Duvall on the top of my deck, and then 3 Don, played Ivankov, got out Duvall, and it was... that's like just an example of what the odd curve can do, because most Marco decks like going second, which we do, but it does have a very strong odd curve as well. So this was great for me, guys. The next card, we finally get to talk about my favorite card in the deck. This is the 3-drop Emporio Ivankov from, I think it's that same Zoro Sanji deck.
That's Zoro starter. That deck pretty much is not a great deck, but produced some really good cards. I think the green Mihawk card is in there too, the 2K that brings something out. So that was a good starter. It's just too bad that it's not very relevant right now.
So guys, the first time that I've seen this card played was in Keck Filet's channel. They posted an All About Marco video, and Steak Frank's List played this card and this whole package with the Haruta, the Duvall, and the puddings. All of these cards you can play off of this, and it definitely took the deck to the next level, in my opinion. Like I said, I played about 21 now, including this one, different versions of the deck. And like I've said before, I've found that I can't last long enough into the game to outlast my opponent and win. And like I said, getting cards on the board to have your opponent swing into preserves your life total. And okay, I'm gonna get into what card does now. So Ivankov, on play, reveal the top card of your deck. Usually one of these, and it plays a let me see. It plays a 2-drop, which is all of these. And then even if you don't see a 2-drop on top, like you can flip it and see, okay, I'm going to see a Doflamingo. You can choose to put this on the top or the bottom, I think. Let me see. Real quick, guys. Then place the rest of the top or bottom of your deck. So essentially, if you play this on 3 and you hit something like a Doflamingo and you're like, oh man, I already have 3 Doflamingos in my deck. Okay, I'm in my hand. Okay, I'm going to put you on the bottom. Like, it lets you filter still.
Yeah, you know what you're going to be drawing a lot of the time with this deck, guys, because of Marco. So
because of Marco, you have Duvall, you have Doflamingo that we're going to talk about next. You're going to find the cards that you need to succeed most of the time. And if you don't, you get really unlucky. So, and then what's even more busted, when attacking once per turn, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, draw a card, guys. Draw a card. So usually I'm crafting my hand and countering out accordingly so that on my next turn, I'm going to swing. And it's usually into a character. I usually, especially against Doflamingo, guys, put 1 on leader the next turn, reduce a body he played and swing with. So it's at a 3K, and then I'm swinging 4 into 3. They're going to give me a 2K counter, and I'm going to draw a card. Like, really good, and then they have to answer this next turn, preserving your life.
They have to swing into it, so it basically becomes a pseudo-blocker, which is, I mean, Haruta probably does the same thing. I mean, you can't let the card stick around or you're going to pay for it.
So this whole package is what the deck is played around. I have been experimenting without Haruta and with the 3-drop Fire Fist event. That is actually really interesting because sometimes you could be at like eight cards in your hand and you could have like the 2 Fire Fists and you're like, okay, Ivankov's on board, but I'm not going to be able to draw with him if I swing with him. So you can use the 3-drop Fire Fist pitching an event to get you down to 6 cards and then swing with him, which is something that I've already pivoted to. This, like I said, I've made like so many different versions of the deck. This is what we played last week, guys. But this is 100%. I don't want to throw you guys off. This is the package that I want to play. That we're gonna play. Like, we will continue to play this package right here. It is what is most consistent for me, and it is what makes this deck amazing in my opinion. So the next card, as hinted to, Doflamingo. It on your odd curve, guys, playing this down and getting to see 5 more cards is just absolutely massive, because the goal of the deck on 10 Don is to place Sanji into either a Rayleigh or a Dragon or a 7 Newgate. And with this lets you craft your top 5 cards so that if you have a Sanji in hand or even on the top of your deck, you can do that on 9 Don, because you can make it so that you draw a card and then play Sanji and then cheat out the big character that you want. And it's a 3/4 blocker that, again, preserves your life total. There's another blocker that preserves your life total. It's really good. Sometimes you can play him out on like a big Don turn, like when you have 10 Don, you could play him out for 3, look at 5 cards, put 1 on leader that you want to like draw. Like I've done a play where I played out Doflamingo, looked at my top 5, and I'm like, oh shit, I need another blocker to survive. Grab a Duvall with my leader ability, play out Duvall, set up a Sanji drop next turn. It's just a really, really good card, guys. Definitely a 4 of staple in this deck. All right, next card. Another one of my favorite cards, period. You may have heard of her, guys, Charlotte Pudding. And what she does on play, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 5 cards. So when you're going up against basically any deck in the format that just draws a gaggle of cards, like this is your MVP and will win you, like just flat out for Don. It can win you so many games, and it has won me so many games, because in the mid game or even the late game, this could be your only play. Even if your opponent has I've done it on 6 cards in hand, 7 cards in hand. It just is so consistently good because it just shuffles them all in. Like 10 cards in hand, you're playing what, Bonnie and now Lucci being greedy, taking life. It just allows you to out-resource them and then play your top end.
Just remember, a lot of decks use searchers, guys. Bonnie's got 2 searchers in it. Pudding, Katakuri. A lot of these decks have a searcher, and some of the cards that they're able to put in their hand, they're just keeping there. They're just stashing them away till they need them. So even if they have 5 cards, like Dominic said, put a pudding down, whatever they've been searching for, whatever they've been holding, you just made them shuffle it all back in their deck.
Another reason why I don't play the 1-drop Ezo Searcher and the Whitebeard package, well, maybe not the Whitebeard package, but specifically the 1-drop Ezo Searcher, is because you're passing up. Like, you can play 4 of these in the deck, and if you play an Ezo and you just pass up, like, 4 of them right off rip, you're never going to see them again in the game, which is why I like cards like Doflamingo and Duvall to, like, you're still seeing the cards, but you're seeing them when you want to see the cards. So I've seen at least 1 pudding in most of my games, and it's just a flat out MVP, especially in the next set when you've got decks like Purple Luffy that have the what is it, Onami that draws a card, and all of these. It's just a really good card, guys, and it's definitely a 3-0 staple.
If you're playing blue, you're playing pudding.
You're 100%.
It doesn't matter what you're playing, what deck you're playing blue. Your pudding is in the deck.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting discussion. This card right here from the Whitebeard starter deck. Been testing it out. 5/6 Portgas D Ace 1K counter, which is just looking at the card, generically strong. We have Whitebeard Pirates in our type, so it gains Rush. So you're playing it for 5, swinging for 6, once per turn, if it's removed from play. This is bottom deck. This is like a Gravity Blade, Red Rock, KO effect. You can give this character minus 2,000, so it will become a 4K, just flat out. And then what I've been finding is that when I play it on 5, swing for 6, Lucci, specifically, which is the tech. This is my tech for Lucci. Will just kill it and swing a Gagalodon into it, and it dies. It'll just die anyways.
So you're getting your swing out of it, but it's not even going to last another turn, is what you're saying. It
is a very good card though. I think I'm gonna go down to 2. And like I said, I'm pivoting to the 3-drop Fire Fist engine with a couple of Seaquakes.
Will that hurt your amount of offense though, you think, by taking out two big, decent sized swings? And if you do get this thing to stick, and you eventually start to get some counter,
you have to pivot. You have to pivot correctly is basically my thoughts on that. And that's just how the deck is, like, generically. Like, if you don't see your cards, then it's gonna fold on you. And if you don't bottom deck or top deck correctly, and you put an ace to the bottom when you should have played it, and same thing with like pudding and all of your top end cards that we're gonna get into right now, it can flat out just lose you a game. But I think now, because my problem with the event package and the Fire Fist engine was you're going so low in hand. But now that you have cards like Ivankov on board, where you can swing and get the card advantage back, it just clicked in my mind the other day that that's probably the direction that the deck is going to go, especially with Dofi being out.
Well, if that's what you play tomorrow, we'll do another quick one of these and let people know how it is with the taking those out.
So it's okay. So 6-drop Boa Hancock is the next card we're going to talk about. I put this in the deck. This is actually the flex slot for me. I put this in the deck about an hour before our tournament started, and it flat out won me the game against the Bonnie. And he played out I wouldn't say won me the game, but it was definitely a tempo swing that I needed. He played out a carrot on 5. I lock down a character, and then I immediately respond with a Boa Hancock, freezing it so it can't attack, or I think it's can't attack, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It locks it down.
Cannot attack, yeah. So his carrot wasn't able to attack the next turn.
Because that would have froze something else of yours down.
Yes, it would have. Yes.
So yeah, that was clutch.
It was very good. It's very good against decks like Pudding, like Purple Yellow Pudding, an L. It's an absolute all-star against an L, just freezing their characters. When you swing with yours, they can't immediately respond with a freaking 8K, 10K, or 9K swing into your board.
Would you consider upping this to 3 if you go down on your ace?
Oh man, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I was thinking about cutting 2 ace and this for the Fire Fist engine. I'm working out the ratios, but it's
you got to take all those characters out, man.
Like I said, the natural even curve of this deck, especially with Boa in it, is just really good.
Yeah,
it looks really, really good. You can on 2 play Duvall or Haruta, filter 4 down. You're either playing Pudding. You could just play Pudding if they get greedy. They have 6 cards in hand. And then, or you could do your Ivankov drop with something else. 6 down, Boa Hancock. 8 down, you're either playing Rayleigh or Dragon, and then 10, Sanji into something. But Boa Hancock, really, really good card. I don't see it played enough in Marco. Great card. Next card. 2 Blades. And you'll probably know what deck we want to put this in for, guys. Yeah, black yellow Luffy.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt against Doflamingo either.
It really doesn't. It's won me games against my cousin a lot of the times.
Yeah, bottom decking right now is a very big deal. Especially with Lucci and I mean, people are playing Smoker like crazy right now too. Like, I'm not sure exactly why over Lucci, but I'm seeing a lot of Smoker. I'm seeing a lot of Smoker do well, and they need to get stuff from their trash for their geckos, and this prevents that. So great card, definitely a 2 of. Good choice.
Yeah, definitely a 2 of. Right now, I have been thinking of switching the deck up a little bit. I think that we are just strong against BY Luffy, just doing our Sanji chains and such. We just have to make sure that we get our chump blockers out to...
We are filming this the day after was it San Diego regionals?
Yeah.
And Black Yellow Luffy beat Lucci in the final. So
yes.
Black Yellow Luffy, although it looks like it's being played a little less, it's still one of the best decks in the format.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
As long as Gecko and Rebecca are in the deck, it is going to have a chance every time.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
All right, what you got next?
But, yeah. Oh, my absolute favorite card.
Yeah. This card,
like without a doubt, my favorite card, guys. I've said this.
I call him Little Jack, but
yeah, you can call him Little Jack. You can call him 7-Gate. You can call him the absolute all-star in Marco. So the way this card works, guys, is on your 7 down turn, you plop him out.
He's an 8K.
He's a 7/8. On play, give one of your 7 rested Don to your leader. So that'll look like this. So now you have a Don leader, so you can do his effect, Marco effect. Activate main. You may rest this character. And you can KO a character on your opponent's board with 5,000 power or less.
Wow, that seems relevant considering your leader automatically
funny
gives
you should
them
say that,
minus
yes.
2,000, and your Otama gives them minus 3,000.
Let's just play this scenario out. You're playing against a Bonnie, and on their 6 down turn, they play a Basil Hawkins. Okay, they play Basil Hawkins. I'm gonna respond with 7-drop Newgate. Actually, I think I don't know. We might swing first. I'm not sure. Yeah. But 7-drop Newgate, put it down on leader, do the thing.
Minus 2
to the Hawkins. Yeah, we would have to swing. Personally, I swing 5 first before I do that, so that you don't televise that you actually have.
But not only that, but Basil Hawkins can rest something of yours to stay in play. So you want to have everything rested when you go for him.
Yes. So sequencing is important. I usually swing 5. And then I don't think that they usually block. It's very play dependent. But anyways, 7 down, plop them out, down on leader, do Marco effect, minus 2,000 the Basil Hawkins power. so it's a 5K. And then your Marco's already swung, so it's tapped. Okay, I'm gonna activate Newgate. I'm gonna KO your Hawkins.
There's nothing they can do.
Cool.
No Don, no counter, nothing can stop it.
This is my favorite card. I've been playing with the Newgate for a couple months now on the simulator, just repping the absolute hell out of it. And it combos amazingly with your leader ability, your Otama, your Rayleighs. It is... I've even tried out the 2-cost Fire Fist with it that just gives minus 4,000 power to something. And I've been really liking it, guys. And it's also good off of a Sanji drop. Sanji into Newgate is one of the most powerful plays in the deck. Next card.
Big boys coming up.
The big boys are coming up. Monkey D. Dragon. I feel like he should be a staple in every red deck just because he's a generically powerful card.
Yeah.
Especially if you get to just plop him out for 8, give 2 rested down to your Marco, and you'll get to activate the Marco ability to filter out your hand. And then you could just go, okay, I'm going to swing 7 at leader. Okay, I'm going to swing 9 at leader. Yep. And that's just on the board now.
And you still have 2 Don left at that point, too. If you're on your 10 Don.
Yeah, of course. But just guys playing it out on 8 is just flat out amazing, and just it's one of my favorite targets off of the Sanji drop. If Rayleigh isn't relevant at the time, Sanji into Dragon is one of the best plays in the deck, and
it's one of the best plays in the game. I mean, that and 9-gate.
I do see people playing the Newgate in place of this card, and you're not wrong. Like 9-gate is an absolutely amazing card. I have no problem with it, but I have found Dragon playing him out just for 8 instead of going Sanji into Dragon is just great. And I found that just playing, like, you just get to use the card more. Like playing out Newgate for 9, I just haven't liked it. Like I just find it has a lot more playability.
I mean, there's a chance somebody can take your Newgate out before you really get to use it, except for the 2,000 it gives your leader, where with this, you're getting a swing, you're getting the 2 Don value immediately. And
it's great against Lucci, because they don't even get a chance to KO it right away. You're swing with it.
Yeah, we hate Lucci here in this house.
We're not a huge fan of black.
We like decks like this. We like to see decks like this do well, and the gatekeepers are just ridiculous.
All right, guys.
So here we go. We're finishing up here.
Right. Yeah. Last 7 cards. Rayleigh is the Dofi killer, guys. Like if you get to this point where you can, if in my opinion, if you can get a perfect timed Rayleigh, it can flat out win you the game just as easily as Pudding can, because the effect is you're KOing a 3K. You're KOing a 3K. You get to reduce 2 characters -3 and -2, and then you just get to swing into them with your leader. If you already have a Don for your leader, you can use Sanji into Rayleigh is the best play in the deck. I don't have enough good things to say about the card. It's
almost like it's made for this deck. I mean, it just goes so well with Marco. And don't forget the Otama, that little 2K can win you a game. I mean, you still have Don left at your 10 Don turn to play that with the Rayleigh too, and you're minusing from the Marco leader. I mean, you can take a board down with that card basically.
My favorite thing to do is answering a Moria, an 8-drop Moria when they have the Rebecca and the Lucci on the board after that's done, is going Sanji into Rayleigh. You -3 the Gecko Moria, so it's 6,000 power next turn. -2 the Rabalucci tapped.
We didn't even mention that Rayleigh's ability lasts the following turn as well.
Does, yeah.
I mean, I didn't forget. We forgot to mention it. So yeah, that's huge.
So I -3 the Gecko Moria standing, so it'll be 6K on Lucci's turn, -2K the tapped Lucci, and KO the Rebecca. Standing, so that you have
so the Gecko's only 6,000 instead of 8,000.
Yeah, and then you already have 1 on leader, so you already can reduce something.
Yeah.
And if you have the Otama in hand, you can either decide between if you want to play Sanji or if you want to KO the Moria, because you can essentially Otama, leader ability, Rayleigh, and kill the Gecko.
Yeah. That's a great play.
Yeah, because guys, Gecko 9k power, put 1 on leader, do the effect, -2 Gecko, 7,000. We could do math. Otama with your other Don, 5,000, and then you just play Rayleigh and you're able to KO it.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
The Gecko is the strongest play in the game, but this is our only way to keep up, because it's a very overwhelming play.
Also, guys, in the comments, if you wanna put your feelings on the Gecko Moria into Rebecca into everything combo, if you think that Bandai should do something about that, or just if that you don't think it's OP, then just leave it. But yeah, we'd like your opinion on that. It's a discussion we have all the time. Okay, last card.
Best card in the deck, like all the rest of them. 9-drop Sanji. Guys, you just play it out for 9, and you get to
basically play anything in the deck.
You get to just play one of these things, just
Newgate too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and even your Boa.
Even your Boa. What about what if you have an emergency there and you need a blocker? Did you ever play a Dofi with that, or?
Not typically. I'd usually probably just play one of these and then the blocker after to just set,
no, I was just saying, like, in case,
100%.
In case you didn't have anything else. It's like late game, or
like I said, I have been screwing around with the version of the deck that I think I'm going to tech in 2 of the blocker Marco just
All right, so that went a little longer than we thought, guys.
Yeah, apologies, guys.
30 minutes, but just real quick, Dom. What are your not easy matchups, but what are the easier matchups, and what are some of the more difficult matchups for you? Keep it about a minute, and then we'll get out of here.
In my opinion, every match is 100% winnable. The harder ones are the aggro decks like Dofi, Zuro.
Yeah.
Reiju's really tough. Because they're out resourcing you when they're high rolling too, so that's another reason I want to fit the Fire Fist Fire Fist engine in. And then you also have your Ivankovs to swing into them. So typically, and I did face a Zuro and beat him. Because I had the chump blockers in the Ivankov to draw cards, and I was able to overwhelm him with the 7-gate on curve is nuts against aggro decks, guys. Yeah. Because Dofi has to answer it immediately on their 8-Don turn with a red rock, only leaving them with 2 Don. And unless they have teach out, they can't really establish any more bodies. So you're just getting to play more and more top end after. So in my opinion, it doesn't have any terrible matchups besides the more aggressive slanted decks, as mentioned.
Okay.
And I've often win against Bonnie. Lucci's a little tough. If they see 2 Morias, there's really nothing you could do.
I mean, that's tough into any deck. Two Morias, you're...
we're typically really strong because we run the 2 gravity blades, as well as we're able to just chain out so many big bodies. As long as you're able to see a few blockers as long as you counter out early and know the matchup. We also play 3 pudding, and that I'm usually pretty clean into that matchup. And what are the other? So Dofi.
I mean, Yellow really doesn't have anything cooking right
now.
Anel, except for me, I play Anel, but other than that, nobody else does.
Yellow Anel, typically we're really. It struggles against Katakuri like majorly.
Yeah, because it's the extra 1,000 every turn.
Yeah, the extra 1,000 every turn, and trigger out of life. You get the life lottery. Do you want to see Boa in that matchup a lot? Deal with the big bombs, but you want it if you don't hit a Sanji. If you don't see your Sanji or specifically Dragon in that matchup, you're gonna fall way behind, and that is probably the toughest matchup.
All right.
For the deck, because we're not playing cards like Red Rock to bottom the.
Well, that's awesome.
The mobs.
Any shout outs before we go?
Majorly Steak Frank, man, just for getting that the Ivankov package, and I've really been liking it.
That's awesome.
Shout out.
All right.
Yeah. That's the shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Best of One Gaming and obviously Grand Central Collectibles and the Grand Central Mafia. We're having custom playmats made. They should be ready in a week or so. We'll put them up here for you guys to see. If you're interested, let us know. They are not expensive at all. They're going to be in the $15-$20 range. I just want I just want people to get some cool stuff. So, but that's it for today. We're going to be playing locals again tomorrow. I'll probably have a Nowler Katakuri. Dom's going to be rocking this. If there's any changes, we'll let you guys know.
Yep. Peace out, guys.
All right, thanks.